Simon Cox here, myself, and we are discussing collaboration, what it means, and how it can benefit, and possibly some of the positives and negatives around this, because there are some negatives, there's no two ways about it. So for me, 4 areas. We've got networking, cooperation, coordination, and then full collaboration. And there is some crossover between these. And I was just going to pick up on the first one for me, the networking side. And when I look at the networking side, this is about that one-to-one sharing of information, the one-to-one meetings, and talk to one another, mutual benefit. You know, you recommend one another your services and things like that, and we've done this, haven't we? You know, the number of us in your Let's Talk business group have done this. Is we've sort of like said, oh, you need to have a chat with Simon, or you know, we've done it in a Facebook group, seen a post in a Facebook group, and we've said, oh yeah, that's Simon, Poppy Design Studio, and you lob the text in. Now that for me is a networking style of collaboration. There's no sort of like formality to it. It is just a mutual benefit and a mutual sort of like trust. I mean, what do you think on this?
Yeah, 100%. On the networking side, I mean, you're right. It's all about collaborating together for mutual benefit, really, isn't it? Loads of people like to share information, show their support, trying to help people, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. And for me, it depends on. I mean, we've collaborated through networks with competing businesses. At the end of the day, it's all down to what we think is the right thing and what people think is the right thing, and giving them options, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think and you soon suss out around these. I mean, we've just been talking about Kelly, and Kelly Frith, she's just a bloody machine on it, and she just keeps going and keeps going, and and there is that mutual side, definitely with that one from the networking point of view, and it works. So it's always worthwhile, I think, from a networking point of view, and on collaboration from that side, is having these one-to-ones and seeing is there is mutual benefit. I've had one today, and I've given them a load of contacts and things like that, and that's what it is. It makes the world go round. So that is the benefit of the networking side. So 2, cooperation. Now this one for me is, I look at this around webinars, business festivals, things like that. So if I take Harry Mansfield, she asked, and I think she's done it with Julie and also with Michelle, saying, oh, shall we put on a seminar? Shall we put on a webinar together? And that for me is more around of that cooperation together as a mutual thing in promoting something. So me and Harry did sort of like mental strength, and then the business productivity together, and how the two match in. That's how I see that cooperation side. Again, it's not necessarily formal. There's no written agreements, but it's a little bit more. Don't we? You think on this?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with the business festival that we were involved with in February this year, and then you obviously got you involved in as well, which is great, and that's where it works, in my opinion. It's chances of people that are in a similar industry or similar mindset or similar zone, really, to come together to actually offer a stronger package for people, really, to benefit whoever's interested. So joint ventures and things like that, I think, are fantastic things to do. I really do.
Yeah, I think the recovery through enterprise, the one you just mentioned there. I mean, I think it was like 2 or 3 days before, wasn't it? There was a sort of like I think you asked me. I said, "Oh, do you want to get involved?" I think you were already doing. Do you want to get involved? And then that opened out to us talking with Charlotte and all the others from the recovery through enterprise, and it all coming together in relatively in quick time, to be fair. And that was a good, a good, as you say, cooperation between different businesses, getting something done that, again, was all about supporting businesses outside of that cooperation part anyway, that collaboration there. It's all about that scheduling something in and planning something in, and you get into that cooperation side. Now, coordination. This one I look at, and I think I don't probably do this as much because I'm not involved in that area. But I think this is where you sort of like are really heavily involved with it. So when I look outside looking in is take Kettering Business Awards. you've got that coordination of you putting on this event, you have a role to play within that event, and then you've got Kerry as well and some others, and you're all pulling off one another, but there are sort of like more designated roles in it. The same with your entrepreneurial side with the youngsters and the colleges. There's a role you have to play, and you and a skill set you're bringing along, but it's more formalised, and that's where I see that coordination side. I mean, you probably explain a lot better on that from this point of view.
Yeah, I mean, with the take the business awards for example. So it was my idea back in it's about 2016, but we actually got off the ground in 2018 with all these things that do take a while to actually get together. No one can do anything alone. So small businesses, people, idea generators, machines, whatever you want to call them out there, they need to work and collaborate with other people to get an end result. So I spoke to Kerry, who runs Polka Dot Events, in I think it was about April or May 2018, and she was just starting out on her journey as an events business. And she said, "Look, I want to get into the events sector." And I went, "Well, I need someone we can work with on this." And let's get the business awards off the ground for Kettering and the borough of Kettering. So it's all around probably about a 25-mile radius of where we're, a 25-mile area. And really from there, we then got Marie involved with all the artwork and the design and the website and everything. So the three of us at the time were all separate small businesses, but all pulling together. So Kerry would run the event and she'd be able to showcase what she could do. I would be out there going, right, we need this, let's do this, let's do this. And actually get, sometimes from the girls actually used to say to me, what have you actually done? Because we've done all this and it's visible. And I'm going, well, hey, hold on. If I hadn't said this, we wouldn't be standing here in the first place. So we had a bit of banter over it. And of course, Marie's work's visible with the visual stuff. So, but at the time we were three separate entities all pulling together really for the benefit of a greater picture. And that's where I think things can really go well. Absolutely go well, because you get to see each other in action for a start. And I didn't really know what Kerry could do when she first wanted to set up or when she first said, yeah, I can run the business awards and we can work together on it. So, she was an unknown entity in business, but she did a fantastic job. And it was one of her first events that she kicked off with her business back in 2018. And it's about, collaborating, pulling together and working together to be able to achieve greater end result. And that's been recognized not only by people in the business community, by people further afield now. And you never know where these things can head.
No, yeah, absolutely, and which again, in that one there is the coordination of bringing that event about, which is this third level. You've got no sort of like written roles and responsibilities as such, but you're just pulling together, coordinating, and to deliver something, a program or an event, and that's the key to it. And you just work together, and which then I suppose leads into then the full blown collaboration. Now this is for me is where it is written, and I use this a lot. I do this a lot. This full on partnership work, and I've always said. That and it's an old African proverb. I think if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I use that a lot. And for me, this is the associate model, the ambassador model, bringing in written partnerships. Working together on a joint product or joint business. But you're getting things going and you're getting things moving. Now, this is where I see this, where you can really make your business shift and grow. It's a lot more formal. I mean, I don't know whether you do much of this within Poppy, or whether you've done much of that side prior. I don't know, but this is for me is where you can really make it move, but you can also become a cropper as well on it as well. So which will go down as well into discussing that as well.
It's interesting. So at Poppy Design, we do collaborate with a PR company, Pilkington. And Jess and us, we talk every so often, regular communication, which is great. And that's what it's about. It is, if you're going to work together, then it can work. In the past, let's talk about the negatives in a minute, actually, because I personally in my own business has had previous collaborations, and they have gone a little bit, let's just say, wrong.
Yep.
But you learn as you go forward, and we'll come on to the loopholes and the where the trip nets, I suppose, or whatever you want to call it, trip wires, should I say, in a second, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've got a collaboration
Yeah.
with Pilkinson. It works for us. We know if we've got a problem and we need their services, we can pick them up, pick the phone up and speak to them, and we know where we're at, and vice versa with us as well. So
Yeah, no, and that's it. And when because I've got a number of them. One of them being the Factory IQ, the SaaS software business that we have, is that all that stuff was in my head around what I wanted the SaaS software to do, but I can't build that. I can't deliver that. So there's a mutual benefit in finding somebody, and I found Peter and 4C Software in, and we build this partnership of working together, where we are outlaying certain costs with each other, but we're sharing that burden to test the viable product and then shift it forward. And we've now built this partnership, and I can't do it without him, and he can't do it without me because of the vision and what we're after from the manufacturing side. He doesn't deal with that. And these are the things that I think really do make it shift, this collaboration, really do make it work. But both parties have to be fully on board with it and very, very progressive. I've been effed over a number of times with this, and it's cost me, a fair few dollars, to say the least, in the past. And you do learn due diligence. The thing for me around this is some of this is, when I look at this collaboration, I don't know whether you feel this as well. I think there's quite a lot of people out there say, pro collaboration, do this, do that, and they absolutely do not. They are the complete bloody opposite. And I've seen people walk over people for this, and I've recently, in a few times recently, and I just think narrow, blinkered, focus. It's not what business is about for me. If you're going to collaborate, collaborate. Don't pay it lip service. You are going to get the arseholes out there, but you just got to do your due diligence on it. But if you believe in collaboration, it can bloody work and work well. Go on, what were you going to say?
It can work very well. It can work very well,
Yeah.
but I think I get approached a lot of times. Can you get involved? Do you want to collaborate with me on this project? And I just think, for a start, it's another thing. That's what I think immediately. Secondly, does it excite me? No. Thirdly, have I got the time? No. Fourth, is it going to take me off my eye off what I'm currently doing? Yes, probably. But what I always look at is, why do they want to collaborate with me? And I'm always trying to wonder what it is. So in the past, I've had people approach me saying, "Oh, I want to collaborate with you." And I'm thinking, right, I know what I've got and I know what you want. But have you got what I need or what I could utilize? And half the time it's a no, because half the time they're after the fact that I've got a network of people, I know people, I don't mind getting involved in things, and it's a case of just getting on and doing things. And I think that's what life teaches you in these situations. When people approach me now, it's like, "Oh, let's collaborate." I can't even say the word collaborate. It's more now about what is their motivation rather than what can they offer.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times that people have approached me and said, "Oh, come on, get involved with this," you get involved, and then you get behind the scenes or on the other side of the fence, or it's all one way, and they will then go, "Well," and then in the end I go, "Do you know what? No," and I move on, and then people criticize me for being the one that moves on because they think I'm a loose cannon, and I'm going, "Hey, hold on, if only you knew the truth."
Yeah.
But you can't go that far with it, so just be very careful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because I can be taken for a ride because I am very, very open, and I am willing to help anybody that's struggling, anybody that wants anything. I'm willing to help, and I probably do give over too much. I don't think I'm ever going to change on that. What I am, when it comes down to a collaborative working and it's getting into that formal working, then I am very, very picky around it now. I've been burnt 2 or 3 times now on this big style, and I'm very, very wary of particularly the ones where I watch. I mean, I always sit back and listen. I don't say very much, and I listen and watch, and if it doesn't fit or they don't fit the values, core principles, then behaviours, it's a no. They won't get past the red velvet rope. I think is a book from Book Solid, but I use it from being an ex-doorman. You ain't going to come in, sort of thing. And that's, so yeah.
I think the key to a positive collaboration is obviously having mutual respect for each other, but also actually regular reviews and monitoring what you're actually doing for each other. So at the end of the day, forget the financial. There's probably no money involved. It's probably a collaborative arrangement or a collaborative partnership or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're still using somebody else's services that could elevate you, could also cause you problems as well. So I think for me, if I could turn back the clock with people I've collaborated with in the past, I'd make sure there was a quarterly meeting. This is what we're expecting and this is what we've achieved, and actually bringing that to the meeting every time so that it's visible, it's tangible, people can actually, see how far things have come, but also you can see whether it's all one way or not. And I think that's, and don't get me wrong, I've had some great collaborations. I was in the schoolwear business a couple of years ago where the guy, funny enough, was a web developer, and we had all the machinery to actually supply the uniforms, and it worked very well. If anything, I think the problem we had was that we couldn't get the stock through in time from the main suppliers, which is obviously what people want. I think the thing for me I learned in the schoolwear industry is the bank holiday weekend, where you try to take a weekend off in August. Everyone's trying to buy a school uniform for little Charlie, who's just put on an extra couple of pounds, and it's just like, I just want a holiday, and everyone's trying to buy a school uniform. It's great in a way, but also it's very frustrating, very challenging, because you've got about 2 days to turn the orders around. But yeah, the collaboration we had at the time, he built the website. We're on a joint venture, and it worked very well for us. So it can work.
I think you hit the nail on the head for me. There is that it is, isn't it? That as you go through escalate through these levels, as you might, from networking to the cooperation to the coordination to the full calibration, it is more formal, more communication, more structured in its approach, and it may even come down into the full collaboration model, which it should do, is into full blown contracts and NDA, non-disclosure agreements, and all manner of stuff. But it is all around. I think this communication just escalates as you go through the phases of collaboration. But collaboration for me is an absolute must within the SME base, without a shadow of a doubt. And I think people miss on it and probably don't utilise it enough either, as well.
But also, can you handle everything that comes at you? The answer is no. None of us can. So, if you've got people you can collaborate with, then you can just bring them in as and when. And half the time, even competitors, half the time, okay, they maybe did some work for you underneath your underneath your banner or your brand or something. But at the end of the day, it still supplies the client with what they need, the end user with what they need. And I think that's the mistake a lot of people make when they see competition. It's like, how can we collaborate together? So I'll give you another example. I mean, obviously during lockdown last year, I was on a lot of Zoom calls. People were talking to us quite regularly. People were saying to us, we had a problem for a client. An inquiry came in and said, can you do something for this on the website? We're like, don't know, we'll have a look. We managed to fix the problem. We managed to solve the problem for the headache or for the client. But when I was talking to somebody else on Zoom, I didn't realise that he actually could have solved the problem for us as well. So that there is something that could work very well as we go forward. Okay, better networking. Yes, he's going to want to pay for his time if we chose to go forward with what he supplies us. But we could end up growing a collaboration from that. We didn't go ahead with it because obviously we'd sorted it another route. But again, it just comes back to listening in networks and looking at people in your industry to think, can I work with this person, and do we share the same values, ethics, vision, and honesty policy, and all that as well? So
yeah, no, absolutely. And I think you hit it on the head for me there from a collaboration point of view. You definitely need to do it. You definitely need to have some form, whether it's one of those levels. But it all helps, and if you're looking to expand and looking to grow, then the full collaboration can really, really be one that really gets you there.
Yeah, I get scared. I do get scared. Well, so when those people come through to you, goes, "Oh, come on, let's see what we can do to work together." And you're thinking, "I don't know yet," and you're sort of thinking, "Okay, so people that expect to collaborate almost from day one,
Yeah.
forget. You cannot go straight into a joint venture, into a collaboration, into any form of arrangement just like that. People that then say, "Oh, yeah, that you meet them on a Zoom call. Here's my details. Put us in your network in case you need us." It's like, sorry, who were you?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, hey, hold on. Let me see what your clients are saying about you first before we even go that far. So again, if people do approach people to collaborate, do your research. Seriously, do your research.
Yeah, it is, because for me and Peter, for us, when we were looking at Factory IQ, it was about 12 months in the making before we actually come together, of us talking and getting to know with each other, how we work, what we like, and that's it. And and that is what it's about. It really do your due diligence, particularly if you entered into a high level collaboration as well. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's been superb discussion. We haven't done one for a little while, have we?
No, it's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So, been great. And thanks for everyone that's watched it. See you next time.
See you soon.